Well, this is another response video. I don't think I'm going to do better than the last video, but we'll give it another shot, take another swing at it. First thing, big glaring thing I notice is that you just ignore my use of the word probabilities. I mean, we can know probabilities. Obviously, we can't know in every circumstance what the right thing to do is, but we can know what is probably going to be the right thing, and that's a big distinction. It is a big difference. I'll get to that because later, because it's important. But yeah, I mean, your whole approach to me is I had an argument with somebody the other day about voting, because they don't vote, and they just give the standard argument, well, everybody sucks, everybody's a liar, blah blah blah. But the fact is, an intelligent person knows there's always a lesser of evils. Very rarely are the evils equally evil, and so there's always a choice to be made, and to walk away from that choice, to walk away from the power to make a difference, sorry, that's just irresponsible, as I put it in the title of the last video. That's just giving up your responsibility. We are the intelligence. As far as we know, we're it. We're God, and we really have a responsibility as God to do our best. And I'm not saying everybody has to act the way I say. I'm not saying everybody has to believe the way I'm saying, and I'm not saying trust me. I'm saying let's discuss it and let's try to make it a persuasive argument. Let's try to get people to understand and to believe. And if that's not possible, that's not possible, but it's an effort worth making, and I'm going to make it. And even though what I'm doing right now is all inevitable, it's all predestined, it doesn't matter. It's perceptually, okay, it's real. Okay, I have a real power of choice, and I want other people to feel that same power. They have the choice to change. Yes, it'll be inevitable. Maybe I will be inevitably convincing, and they will inevitably change their behavior, and the world will inevitably change, blah blah blah. Okay, whatever. The point is, if I'm here and there's a choice to be made, I'm going to make it. I'm not going to not vote. I'm not going to say, let chaos rule. Yes, let the decision be made by a brick. Let the decision be made by the wind. Let the decision be made by a tree. That is unintelligent. It is contrary to the whole point of having intelligence. There's no point in having intelligence if we're not going to apply intelligence. If we're going to say, no, I'd rather just let chaos rule. Okay, I'm going to just not make a decision because decisions are too hard to make, and so I'll just let chaos take over, because that's all there's left. There's us or there's chaos, and you're voting for chaos. You're saying nature knows best in the end. You're presuming it, of course, but that's your theory. The chaos presumably has better judgment than you do. That's your conclusion. And yes, that's a conclusion I will vehemently disagree with. It has there's no fact, there is no evidence, there is no logical conclusion that can get you to that point. There's nothing that can be built on. There is no reason to presume nature has an ounce of credibility as a destiny machine, that it has any purpose whatsoever in anything it does. And we can have that. We can change. We can evolve. We can think. We can manipulate concepts through this complexity that we have, and to put nature in charge, to go to the polls basically and say, yes, I vote for chaos, I vote for nature, I vote for presumption that even though it's just crude forces, it knows best, and that there's absolutely no possibility that there's any decision to be made as an individual or as a society that will make any difference whatsoever in anything. We will have no control. And I would say to you that perhaps in 100 years we'd have the intelligence to know something that might be vitally important. We might be able to press a button in the cosmic space and prevent all kinds of horror. Who knows what we have the power to do? Who knows? And we're not going to know if we just sit back and say, "Now we're just going to go on. We're just going on. We're just here for the ride." Nature's decided what the ride is. Okay, it's roller coaster X, and that's the ride, and that's what I'm going to go on. And there's no decisions to be made. That's it. We're not going to try to design our own roller coaster. We're not going to sit there and apply any intelligence to the path. We're just going to say wherever nature takes us, that's fine. If it's a brick wall, fine. If it's right off the edge of a cliff, fine. We're not going to apply one little bit of our thinking machine to deciding what our fate's going to be. We're just going to sit back and let it happen. And that's that's the part that stuns me. That's the part I just can't get by. I don't understand where that comes from. I don't understand the resistance. Let me think. What you said is that we can't be trusted, and that just, who can? I mean, gorillas. So we should put them in charge. What are we putting in charge? If we can't be trusted, who gets the job then? Because somebody's doing the job. Somebody's going to write the tale, and I just think it ought to be us, because we're capable of doing it. We're more capable than anybody else or anything else. And so I guess the bottom line is you are religious. You basically believe that yes, there is cosmic purpose. Yes, there is a God. There is intelligence. There is mission. There is intent. There is some other force that has applied some kind of reasoning and intelligence to this circumstance, and it's okay for us just to be passengers. That's okay. Let's not take control. And that's the part I need you to defend. I don't have to defend it. I mean, who cares? I mean, you're entitled to live your life any way you want to. That's fine. Whatever. Great. Brilliant. But I'm still going to make the argument that I have an equation that says that's not the road to productive human existence. That's the road to failure. That's the road to disaster. That's the road to doom. There's nothing there. That goes nowhere. Chaos will not be a victory for us. You might as well elect a George Bush. That's just doom. It's just, you're going nowhere. No logic, no intelligence. Doesn't make any sense. I still got 2 minutes. Okay, so we'll go the finding truth part. Yeah, that's the thing too. That's another one of these things where you're just so demanding that if I can't find the exact perfect truth, if I can't define good specifically and with perfect precision, then there's no point in even trying to do it. No point at all. Don't even try to do it unless you can do it perfect. And where does the human race apply that standard anywhere else? I mean, everybody's perfectly satisfied with a really imperfect world, but when Gary sits there and applies an equation, he's got to make sure his equation, nope, can't be any loose numerals anywhere, can't make a mistake, and it just doesn't. I don't understand. Like I said, defend the idea that we won't even apply our understanding of probability. I mean, if we know we're going to be right 9 out of 10 times, well, damn it, it's worth the risk. Okay, it's a hell of a lot better than the 50-50 odds you're going to get from chaos. And I just, like I said, to think that chaos is a key word for me, because that's all I see running the world. It runs the friggin' internet. It's just chaos. It's a swamp. It's full of bugs, dirt, weeds, garbage, because no one will sit there and manage it. No one will say, okay, let's make a few simple little rules and run this thing a little bit logically. And that's abhorrent to everybody, because that's anti-freedom. To me, freedom only comes when you have clarity. I mean, you have no freedom in a fog. When there's fog, you have no freedom. You only have freedom when you have a clear atmosphere, where you can see where you're going, when you can take a risk. But if everything's foggy and you can't see anything, you take no risk. You have no freedom. So anyway, enough crap. Thanks for the video, and it's an interesting discussion, but I'm going to lose it, I guess. And it's depressing.